Good afternoon, everybody. This is Butch Popeye Moss with Texas Biker Radio, Sons of Liberty Riders MC. Now, I just busted in, even without a intro or anything else, to let you know what's going on and the truth of it all. Now, evidently, some patriots made their way down to the Capitol building where the electoral vote count was going on. And so they made their way down there. I'm surprised there wasn't much security there, and the people were able to get into the house. And from what I understand, a few of them actually made it into the chamber. Now, I don't know what's going on there, and I don't think anyone else does. But hey, look, they made their way down there. They want their voices heard. They want them to stop the steal. And so they're standing there. Now, from what I understand, Fox News is on there telling everybody how unpatriotic it is, how all this stuff is going on, and how horrible this is, and they're being attacked. Well, if you watch the video here, that's really not what's going on. They're just standing around, milling around, like any other protester would do. And so, here they are, trying to get their voices heard. A minute ago, they were chanting, "Stop the steal, stop the steal." And where this video is coming from is from Jeff Mack. As you see in the picture here, I'm covering his face up. Now, Jeff Mack is a musician turned media guy, and he sends people out. I guess he sends them out to take these videos, and he presents it out there as news. Now, he's been doing this months and months and months, even when the Antifa things were going on pretty big. Can you hear, you guys on the chat line, can you hear that in the background? Is it too loud? If it is, I can turn that down really quick where you cannot not hear it. So let me do that so I can kind of think. And so, as you can see for yourself, there's nobody attacking anybody. There's none of that junk going on, and you can see the video for yourself and see what's happening. It's really pretty incredible. That I think this. I don't think they expected to get this far, going down to that building, and I don't know what the hell they were thinking, that they would be able to just go in there and steal this election without anybody reacting to it. Really? Really? As you see, Jeff will move around and change scenes and all that other stuff. And, last night we said, hey, look, there's going to be some Antifa types there. And their plan was to blend in with the Patriots and then cause some chaos. Now, I don't know whether this was a part of that. We did see some guys wearing the MAGA hats on backwards. But you know what? Seeing a young guy wearing a ball hat backwards is nothing unusual, and I do it myself sometime. I even wear my duckbill hat backwards. Yeah. So it's, yes, and I do believe Trucker Live, I do believe we're in the beginning stages of a revolution. We're in the beginning stages. Or maybe a civil war, whatever it's going to work out to be. And like I said a few times here, if this stands, I would just assume to see the two sides just, the states split and go their own way. Is what I'm saying. So I haven't heard of anybody being shot. Anything like that. Of course, Fox News is just crapping in their pants over it all. It's something else. Of course, I'm not watching Fox News. What I tried to do is go into YouTube, find some video clips that gives me the truth and gives you the truth. That's what I'm trying to do here, is show you what's really going on outside that building. And yes, they did breach the doors of that building there, the Capitol building, where they going on. But let me tell you, the politicians inside there ran like a bunch of cowards. It's what they did. So they went into recess, and I don't believe they have returned. Now, if we can do this that easy, just maybe we ought to keep it going. Maybe those 500,000 people or 1 million people, how many ever it is in Washington, D.C., maybe we just need to go relieve them at a certain time. But as you know, most patriots have jobs unless they're retired. And we do have the right to seek redress from our politicians. And I got news for Fox News. That's exactly what these people are doing. They're seeking redress. Something I've done many times since 2001. And each time, as each year goes by, the more these two sides fight with each other, the more our country has been slipping into a socialist abyss. Now, we need to take the reins away from these people. Make sure you're keeping track of who's who. We have to stop the steal now, whether it be last night's runoff, whether it be the November 3rd election. We have to stop this in its tracks. And as I reported earlier on Facebook, it's been told that, and Fox News was the ones that read it on the air, from what OG told me, that Mike Pence said that he would, in a letter to the Congress, that he would just monitor the electoral votes. In other words, he wouldn't inject himself into it. And that's not is what's needed to happen here. We needed him, and this is what the president wanted, to send these unlawful electors back to the states that have asked for them back. Send them back to them and let them make the proper corrections. If they have to, audit the votes with witnesses. I don't care if they have to redo the whole damn election. But as we all know, and as we pointed out in Texas Biker Radio number 429, the Dominion voting machines in Georgia were still in place. And let me say this to everybody. Every time they have an election, the fraud gets easier to do because they will hone their craft. And that was obvious from last night. Obvious. And if you go to TexasBikerRadio.org, you will see the explanation for that. And as you can see, looking at the video right now, look at that video, they're just standing out in front of the building. They're not attacking anybody. They're just protesting, is all they're doing. They're not marching the streets, tearing up and burning up property. None of that is happening. And I do believe we have to keep this going no matter what. No matter what. Even if I have to redirect my efforts. And I hope you got to see Katrina Pearson today on the stage there in the Stop the Steal rally. Katrina Pearson is from Dallas. And she is something else. Her speech, her little speech she gave was great. I'll go back and see if I can capture that and post it at texasbikerradio.org so all you guys can see what she had to say. But little did anybody know there, and I wasn't aware of it, about the letter that was sent to Congress. Now, I do have to ask one thing about that. Just when was that sent? Was that sent before he sought counsel? Or was that sent after? After he was told he had plenary authority, absolute authority. Yeah, so the mainstream media, C-SPAN, all of them is acting like this is so bad, the end of the world. All these protesters are standing out there milling around. As you can see, that one there's got to stop the steal sign. It's not what's being described in mainstream media. You have to quit watching that bullshit and seek other sources. That's the reason I decided to come on live and show you this. Show you the truth of it. So here we go. Just maybe this delay will cause Vice President Pence to change his freaking mind. Because everybody thought he was a righteous guy. Has he been there all this time and had everybody fooled? Even in his speeches in Georgia, where he said he was going to do the right thing, and then you get down to the nut cutting and he can't do it? What happened? Who got to him? Is what I want to know. Now, OG is convinced that, hey, he's just another politician. And there's a rumor out there they were thinking about 2024, but I explained that last night. That's not going to happen. He has no shot at the presidency in 2024. Neither does McCarthy. And one of the main reasons is if they get away with stealing this election, what's to stop them from stealing the next one and the next one and the next one as they hone their craft, as they adjust the machines like they did last night? As you saw that explained, there was like a file or a little notebook inside the machine. Inside that was all the people that did not vote. Maybe they were registered to vote, but maybe they didn't vote. So when they needed extra votes, guess what? the machine voted for them. That's how that happened. It was explained to us today. And you can see that at texasbikerradio.org. Absolutely unbelievable. And as we brought up last night, we cannot let this stand. As I brought up, we had young men that went to war in foreign lands to fight against communism. All my life, we've been battling communism, and here they are knocking on our damn door just like they said they would without firing a damn shot. We're going to let that happen? We're going to let that happen? I'm not. I'll fight till the last breath any way I can, whether it's doing these videos or something else. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm considering a drastic move here for me because I love what I'm doing. I really do. But we can't let this happen. We can't let this stand. And if it does, we've got to fight it. Again, and again, and again. And for some reason, that video is rendering right now. I don't know why. It's probably not a great Wi-Fi connection where they're at. And that usually happens. Let me say hi to some people on the chat line. Reverend Bland Haywood, how are you doing, sir? Glad to see you. Trucker Live, how are you doing, buddy? Mater's Workshop, you know, Mater, the truck and cars. I got that right. Ghost Eagle says CNN is a communist news network. That's true. That's true. Brain damage. Said regardless of the outcome on the 20th, the fight can't stop. It should intensify if necessary. You are correct, brain damage. So your brain's not as damaged as you think it is. United we stand, yes, sir. He's got everybody six. And, you know, that's a good term. It really is. Back in the day when I was in the service, and I spent a lot of time with Marine Recon, and that term wasn't used then. Or at least I don't remember it. I think we threw more F-bombs than we did anything at each other. But it was all, it's just what we said. It's just what we did. Yeah. So thank you, Lorenzo, for that information. Yeah. Yeah, Lorenzo, I keep telling OG he's got to speak up when we're on together. Yeah. Okay, Trucker, yeah, he's from our West Texas chapter. Yeah. Nice to see you on this afternoon. So the video has started up again, and as you can see, there's nobody burning anything down. There's nobody fighting anybody. The doors, they're up there at the door, and I'm sure they're being loud where they can be heard in through those doors. And that's what they should be doing. There are certain things you should be doing when you're protesting. Yeah. I know the other side is taught that. And, unions teach that too. Back in the day when I was a union organizer, um, when we would be doing a protest out of any particular place that where we were fighting for better wages, better insurance, whatever, and sometimes fighting over nothing, um, we would be taught how to protest. And that no justice, no peace, that's been around a long time, man. That's been around a long time. That's nothing new. It's nothing new. But every once in a while, somebody's doing a little speech there. And, at first I was looking, I thought, well, is this Antifa doing this? Or is this really the Patriots? And at first I did see some guys with, their hats on backwards and that kind of stuff. I saw some guys with gas masks. And, I guess if I was there, I probably might want one. Because they said inside the building they did launch some tear gas at them. Even though they were under, those people were under no threat. But I'm sure they thought they were. Yeah. And it looks like some of it's beginning to thin out there now. And maybe they'll go back to counting the electoral votes inside. Brave people that they are, And I'm sure that security went in there and told them, oh, run and hide, run and hide. They're trying to break down the doors. They're coming in to get you. And I'm sure it made a bunch of them just pee in their pants. Because they are cowards. They are. Cowardly people will not necessarily, let me put it this way, the way George Soros put it. If you put enough fear into them, they'll do things that are not necessarily good for themselves. That's what this virus is all about. That's what all the chaos was all about. That's what all the protests for the better part since the first of the year by the Antifa types, by BLM, by everybody else. It's chaos. Chaos meant to put fear in your hearts to the point where you would do something that's not necessarily good for yourself. And George Soros said that not long ago. So we've got to keep it going. We've got to rally around each other. And like the young said a minute ago on the chat, I got your six. I got your six. And so we'll let this play on for a little bit. I just thought I would come on here and show you the truth of it all while the mainstream media is out there lying, and trying to set a narrative that these people were bad, that these people were threatening. And as you can see there, they're just milling around. They want their voices heard. They want to stop the steal. And so, a lot of time on Jeff's videos that he has up, I don't know what they're using to grab these video with. I assume a cell phone. And sometimes the audio is not the best. You can't tell what's being said. Unless it's an Antifa woman that's got a bullhorn that's screaming her head off for hours on end. Yeah. And I thought I heard, because I've watched many of these things, because I'm a night owl. The Antifa roaming around all night in Oregon and Seattle and other places. I thought when I first tuned in, I heard some familiar voices. But wow. And yeah, Trucker Live. If I was president, you'd be getting a lot more than $2,000. And you know what I'd do with all those son of a bitches in D.C.? You know, being they're always bitching about what it costs to live there and everything, I'd put them all in a trailer court or a barracks. If it's good enough for our military men and women, it's good enough for them. And, you know, many of those people, especially when they're new going there, they live in their offices. So that's the truth of it. So, yeah, from what I understand now, Mike Pence did fold. We'll see if he does it in the end. Let's see if he doesn't have a change of heart. But people that thought they knew his character, if this is true, that means he stabbed Trump in the back. And like I said, if they're thinking of aspirations of running for president in 2020, he and McCarthy both, number one, we're not going to forget what he's done. Number two, the other side is going, like I said, going to hone their craft. They're going to steal every election from now on. Is what's going to happen. My stepson is calling me up and he's saying, let's go to D.C. now. Let's go to D.C. now. I told him, I said, well, I didn't get my stimulus. I don't have the finances to do it. I just bought new tires for our car. I'm not a rich man. So it is what it is. I'll do everything I can do from here, like this broadcast I'm doing now, to get out to you, to get out the truth, rather than what's being said in the mainstream media. They're a bunch of liars, just like our judges here in Texas are liars. Most of our politicians will tell us what we want to hear. Our law enforcement officers, there's no shortage of law enforcement officers that will not bully you, that will not violate your constitutional rights as a biker or anybody else, is what I'm saying. We have seen it all. We have seen it all. And now we're seeing it play out on the biggest stage of all. And so, you know, this is what I'm saying. Trucker Live, that sounds like a good idea, buddy. It sounds like a good idea. Now, what may need to happen here is if we're going to keep this going, we need to go back to D.C. again and again and again. And just maybe we rotate with our other patriot brothers. But to make that happen, we've got to organize. And I'll certainly use the contacts I have to try and make that happen, to try and push it that direction. Especially if any of this stands. So that means, is the fight over? Because that would be an illegitimate presidency. It's what it would be. And we've got to let them know that every step of the way. Every step of the way. But first of all, we got to save this republic. If Trump has any more moves to make, he needs to make it now. He needs to make it now. I know he wanted to do it through the courts. I know he wanted the Congress and the Senate to do the right thing. And there were certainly some that stepped up to make the effort. But the one that needed to step up the most is Mike Pence. Because he has absolute authority over what's going on today. Absolute. Absolute. That means he himself could have rejected the unlawful votes, electoral votes, and sent them back to the states that requested that he send them back. Now, this hasn't played out yet because that process was due to last all day long. I didn't realize how slow that was going to be because you've got to go through the electoral votes of each state. And then for every objection there is to a set of electoral votes, like Arizona, which we're not past that. We're not past that yet, I do believe. I don't know that they reconvened. Hadn't checked it lately. Or just maybe they kicked Right Side Broadcasting out. Maybe they kicked all of them out. I don't know. If so, that means they're doing it with closed doors so nobody can see. And just maybe these people that went down to the Capitol building got wind of what Pence did. So we'll see. So, if any other crazy thing happens tonight, we'll be back on later on tonight. We'll be back on later on tonight. And let me read a couple more things here. The Tree of Liberty, this is by Lorenzo Rodriguez Jr. The Tree of Liberty is getting very thirsty. Law enforcement agencies don't like me because I say we, the people, have the right to take out any elected official or public servant for gross treason. And you know, take out could mean a lot of things. It's certainly not taking them out to dinner, but you can get them out of office. We're not at the stage yet where we need to take them out otherwise. In the end, we'll see what happens. And you guys, you know, I've been standing up for a very long time. Sometimes I get weary of it all. Thinking, you know, why don't I just go on and enjoy my retirement? What's left of my life? As everybody knows, I've had cancer 4 times. It's beat the hell out of me. I'm no longer what I was. But I'm young in my head. It's the truth of it. And I know you get the same way. You get sick and tired of this. Well, if we're sick and tired of it, we've got to bring it to an end. We've got to set it right. We've got to set it right. And if we can, we've got to set it right peacefully. If we can't, that will be because of the other side, who refuses to listen. who continues to put out false narratives, who continues to threaten to eliminate us, put us in retraining camps. America is not Cambodia. America is not Vietnam. America is not China. America is not Russia. America is not any socialist country. Not yet. Not yet. Although they've taught our children, and I've heard it from my own grandchildren, who said, well, like socialism, they have the best health systems. Oh, really? I would say. I can't tell you when I was getting cancer treatments and would go in to get my chemo treatments, of the people I sat next to who were from those socialist countries that were here getting treatment because they couldn't get it at home. Even when I was getting radiation and they were burning the hell out of me, I would run into people that were from other countries that were getting treatment. And if you're in the military and you've been to other lands, you know what I'm talking about. You have seen the hellholes of the world. That's what you've seen. Even when I went to places in Europe, there was no country that was like this one. And I know some of those countries have improved. Well, let me tell you, they may have improved their highways, their infrastructure. You have to understand what the EU is. You have to understand the thousands of bureaucrats that control their lives while they live in luxury, while they tax the hell out of the people and they live in luxury. And maybe we'll be talking about that here pretty soon. Maybe we'll be pointing it out to everybody. But right now, we've got to point out the truth of it all. And the truth of it all tonight is nobody was getting attacked there. Things are not what the mainstream media says. And we've got to get this video out there and show them it was a bunch of lies and a bunch of crap that they were spewing. If you would like and share this video, help us grow this channel. That's one thing that will help. With that, everybody, I'm going to sign off. And like I said, if anything else happens crazy tonight, I'll be back on. Maybe they'll finish up their damn electoral vote count. And without Pence's getting involved in the selection of those electoral votes, the two sides, Republicans and Democrats, are never going to agree with each other. And so what they will do, I got a bug flying in front. What they will do is they will certify the electoral votes as is. President Trump, if you've got another card to play, that we don't know about, do it now. Do it now. Nip this in the bud. Nip it in the bud. Do it now. Don't wait another day. With that, everybody, this is Butch Popeye Moss telling all you bikers out there to ride safe, everybody. Ride safe. Be safe from the China virus. I've already had it. I survived it. My 93-year-old dad survived it. Yeah. And he's doing fine. He looks great. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Don't believe what you're seeing out there in that world, because there's so much information and they're using it to try and put fear into your hearts about the coronavirus. And I could do another whole show on that, which I will probably do. On the China Virus Survivors page here tonight or in the morning, one or the other, unless something else crazy happens in Washington, D.C. And I'll be up late monitoring this. It's driving my wife nuts. She thinks I'm going crazy. She thinks I'm going mad. And I am mad in a way. Yes, I am. With that, everybody, be safe. Bye-bye.